What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks.
I do have a media recommendation.
I love Lord of the Rings. Superheroes, movies, a little jack of all trades, I guess.
So what makes me a geek?
What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks, your weekly pop culture podcast from Central Michigan Life, where we discuss all things geek culture, which is like high culture, but better. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you follow the CM Life Instagram and Twitter pages for updates on the podcast, and to look for us wherever you find your podcast, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our website at www.cm-life.com. My name is Brendan Valentine, and you're watching Disney Channel. Not really, you're listening to a podcast, but I would like to thank you all for joining me and my fellow co-hosts this week, who will introduce themselves in a second with our question of the week. This week's question is, as you could guess by my intro, what is your favorite Disney Channel original movie? See, this one was a tough one. I'm a big fan of the DComs. You know, you got your classic High School Musicals, your Camp Rocks, your Lemonade Mouths, but one that I kind of forgot I liked and was not formative for my love of science fiction, but definitely hinted at how much I like science fiction was Minutemen.
Yes! Oh
Yeah,
my
that
god!
one was surprisingly good for a weird Disney Channel time travel movie. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the kid who was like the short one, I can't remember his name, but like the really nerdy one that made everything.
Mhm.
That's Luke Benward, and he is in Cloud 9 later, and he looks like you're like, is that the same kid? Because he grew up, like he had a nice glow up, and it's just like there's no way you're the same kid because
And
he doesn't look geeky anymore.
And I think one of the kids is the same guy that played Zach from Sky High.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It's the dark hair, and then Jason Dolly, of course, was in Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah, that was a star-studded movie, and when I was thinking about this question, I looked up a list of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that movie, but it's so good. I watched that a ton.
Thanks.
So, how about you two?
Go ahead, Isaac.
Okay. Hello. As Hope said, I am Isaac. Pleasure to be here. Disney Channel. I had to look back and think about a lot of them. Because yes, I do like High School Musical is great. Like whether or not I was a fan of it at the time, because I was trying to be cool, but I realize now that it's great no matter what.
You're trying to break the status quo.
Yeah, for real. And then obviously Halloween Town. I was a big fan of Halloween Town. Still am. Watched it on Halloween. My family was a fan. We were a fan of Cadet Kelly.
Yes, that was a good one too.
Yeah. Cadet Kelly. I also have Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior because
Yeah.
Oh,
both are
that's
good.
a good one.
Yeah, I think it was my sister really liked those movies, and so female-led movies. But no, they're both good, and they're both have action.
Oh, he is it. Okay, so also Cadet Kelly has Sean Ashmore, who was Iceman in the
Yeah.
original X-Men movies, and he's also currently on The Rookie as a lawyer who is still engaged because I don't think they've gotten married yet to the Detective Lopez. So.
And he's Lamplighter in The Boys.
Wait, what?
The Iceman from.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Wait, is it him or his twin brother? Because he has a twin brother who was
It's
on
him. It's
Smallville.
him.
Okay.
It's the real him, because I thought it was really ironic that he went from ice to fire.
Oh, yeah.
You became the very thing you swore to destroy. All right, Hope.
Yeah. All right. Hi everyone. It's Hope. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, I absolutely loved High School Musical. I went to my grandparents' house in Dexter. I remember specifically to watch the second movie come out because they had cable and we didn't. Obviously Camp Rock as well because Jonas Brothers, come on. Oh geez, trying to pick one is really hard. I'm gonna say, It was with the two sisters. Who one of them is now on the Flash. Danielle Panbaker.
With the two sisters?
Yeah, it was her and her sister. That were in it. I just lost the title. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh, was it before Sky High? Holy crap.
It would have had to have been Stuck in the Suburbs.
No, it was oh my gosh. Oh, Read It and Weep.
I don't know if I know that one.
Read It and Weep was one of my favorites because like I'm a writer and like it was really cool how they like had both the sisters in there. Both Danielle and her sister Kay Anna Baker were in it. And I thought like it was really cool that like Danielle was playing like the alter ego and everything, and like in real life, or like she was fictional, but like Kay's character could see her, and I was like, that's cool. But
That's cool.
Yeah,
nice. Well, that's our intro question. Now, I guess we're just going to get things started with our quick geek news. So do either of you want to go first, or should I share my stuff?
I can go first.
Go for it, Isaac.
So a couple things. One is that fans of Square Enix's Marvel Avengers video game, those that play PlayStation specifically are going to be excited because there's going to be a Spider-Man DLC being released on November 30th, where you get Spider-Man, and it says it's going to be for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions. It's going to be free, so that's kind of neat. I've yet to play that game, but
it's pretty good. It doesn't have a lot of replayability though.
Yeah, it's like a linear game, right?
I mean, you can play online, but like I didn't, and then I got to the final mission and then was like, I'm bored, and didn't finish the final mission. So I don't know how it ends.
The world's still in chaos. Secondly, Gal Gadot has just been cast.
You stole one of mine.
I did. Just been cast as the evil queen for Disney's live action adaptation of Snow White. So that's pretty exciting because if she goes to the mirror and says who's the fairest in the land, and the mirror does not say her, I'm gonna be disappointed. Rachel is it Zegler is set to play the titular character of Snow White, and this is going to start production in 2022. And I think that's pretty cool because I always liked Snow White. I'm really curious to see who's going to play all the dwarves, because if they don't have this like a bunch of really funny actors, I'm going to be disappointed.
You said 2022, and I'm like, oh, so in like a year, and I'm like, wait, that's like 2 months from now.
Yeah.
2022 is happening a lot sooner than we think. All right, well, I'll go on to geek news next. Isaac stole one of mine, but I have two others. So one, I know that this video game, if you want to call it a video game, was not as popular as its counterpart, Pokemon Go. But Potterheads did appreciate it a lot because of the ability to cast spells, make potions, see the creatures. But unfortunately, Wizards Unite is not going to be available in the App Store or anywhere anymore. So if you delete it, okay, so it's going to be removed from the App Store, Google Play, and the Galaxy Store on December 6th. So you still have a month to like re-download the game. But you will, as of December 6th, you will no longer be able to find it in any of the app stores to re-download it, and you will not be able to make in-game purchases. But like as far as potions and everything, if you still have the app on your phone, it'll still work, and like time will be reduced for making potions and stuff, and like some things will be made easier because obviously you can't buy stuff to make it easier. I think it's and it officially closes on January 31st of next year. So like it's kind of sad, but also it didn't work out quite as well because of like you don't really catch the magical creatures like you do Pokemon to battle it out. So I think it just didn't work as well as they wanted it to. And then on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard side of the universe, on Wednesday, so yesterday when we were recording this, Wednesday, November 3rd, the Virginia court granted Johnny Depp access to Amber Heard's phone to see if he can prove, he and his team can prove that she faked injuries that she accused him of giving her. Like the 2 black eyes that she claimed to have suffered back in 2015. And I guess like she's been using these pictures in a lot of their court trials, and they're phony. So Johnny Depp's legal team is going to be able to have an expert look at these pictures to see if they're doctored or not. And I believe that they are, but that's me and knowing and not knowing, but having very high hopes of an actor who I've heard repeatedly very good things about and past things. But so we'll see if Amber Heard is going to perjure herself again, because there's also come about that she has perjured herself in a dog case that's not related to anything Johnny Depp related, but it was like a dog stealing, like theft thing that she perjured herself in, that police are currently like relooking into and trying to see if they can support that there. So we'll see how this all turns out. But that's my news on that front.
All right. Well, for my news, of course, the week after I do a quick Star Wars update on everything without a whole lot of direct news, we get a whole flippin' trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, coming out December 29th. At least the first episode will be. So from looks of the trailers, it seems like the series is going to be about Boba Fett kind of reclaiming the galactic underworld post Empire and post death of Jabba the Hutt. So most of the trailer seems to take place on Tatooine, but it looks like if you're familiar with the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the series Clone Wars and Rebels, and then the movie Solo, a lot of the crime families, such as the Pikes, and what are the other ones called? The ones in Clone Wars where Savage Opress cuts off all their heads.
Oh,
That's just the crime that's what Maul calls all 3 of them, the crime syndicate.
yeah.
But all the major crime families, if you're familiar with the arc where Maul forms his crime syndicate, and then in Solo where they steal the spice from the Pikes, it seems like Boba is trying to democratize the underworld in a way so that not everyone answers to one person, they all kind of answer to each other. So it looks like it's going to be very fun because he still has Fennec by his side, a fan favorite character. And it should be good. So it seems like most of the series will take place on Tatooine based on the trailer, which will be really cool. We get to probably explore a little bit of Mos Eisley, get some callbacks to The Phantom Menace and A New Hope, which are really the only. I mean, we could probably get some callbacks to Return of the Jedi, but the
I want
time
to call
spent
back
on
to the holiday special where Boba Fett was first introduced.
that holiday special. Yeah.
I doubt it, but yeah.
I doubted too. But I mean, I thought you were talking about the Lego Star Wars Holiday
Oh.
Special, my favorite Christmas movie.
If they reference that, I'm gonna be very surprised.
I will also be very surprised because I don't know how you can reference a Lego Star Wars movie.
He's got like Legos.
But I would like to see anything about Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit.
Yes, I was waiting to say that too. At least like I want a video of it, you know?
Mhm.
Also, because I'm still a fan of Build-A-Bear, they still have the Boba Fett bear that you can get and make to watch your Boba Fett show with. I'm just saying. I mean, it's like $36 online, but it's Build-A-Bear, so.
Hope I'm too hardcore to cuddle a bear while I watch a bounty hunter that I love murder a bunch of criminals. I'm going to hold on to my Wookiee
Nope, it's not.
Squishmallow.
Yeah. Yes.
You could also get Gorgu.
Who?
Grogu. I flipped the baby Yoda. There's also an online exclusive Bantha plush with the saddle.
Oh, I like Banthas.
And there's an online exclusive Mandalorian bundle and a holiday Baby Yoda plush. And he looks
So,
adorable. in his
ask for
Santa
all of
outfit.
those for Christmas and cuddle them while you watch Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
There's also a Loft Cat inspired plush online
I like
exclusive.
love cats. Oh, just shout out to Ezra Miller. But yeah, so Book of Boba Fett looks very exciting. It looks to have a very similar vibe to The Mandalorian, but Boba
But
Fett is kind of
less Western, you know?
less Western. This looks more like a crime like maybe like a gang movie almost. Like it just has the Western environment being on Tatooine, but I don't know. Maybe it's gonna seem more like an Al Pacino type movie. Not quite that because they're not in, like the city and talking like like Scarface.
They
But
might. I don't know.
I swear, if all of a sudden Tamora Morrison's New Zealand accent changes from the "I'm just a man making my way in the galaxy, a simple man making my way in the galaxy" to like,
I'm
"Hey, come
walking
down to
in
Mos
the
Eisley
galaxy.
Cantina, hey,
Oh gosh.
let me get you a beer." That was weirdly Boston, not New
You
York.
want some blue milk? I'll get you blue milk.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett trailer is out. Highly recommend you go watch it if you're a Star Wars fan. But then we got another trailer for the Morbius movie that Sony's been putting together, starring Jared Leto. And that one was just chock full of Easter eggs. If you don't know what Morbius is, he's like a vampire-esque character, not quite the same as like Blade. Um, if you're familiar with Blade, there was a Mahershala Ali will be playing Blade in the remake, and then who played Blade in the early
Wesley
2000s?
Wesley
Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes version. Morbius is a little more mystical than Blade. Blade is like I'm a vampire, but also like I'm just like kind of like a
A
bounty hunter.
Walker.
Yeah. Um, Morbius is like more like mystical. Dr. Michael Morbius, in a search for a cure to a disease that he has, gets bitten by a bunch of vampire bats, and now has these weird, like, mystical Dracula-esque powers. So Morbius is generally closely associated with the Spider-Man like mythos. He's not necessarily a Spider-Man villain, but like he's
Sometimes.
that sometimes he is. Um, but
The
because
trailer
Sony,
called him a hero and a villain.
Yeah.
yeah, so Dr.
So
Michael Morbius is a good guy. The vampire creature that lives inside of him, not quite. It's the kind of like the Venom scenario, except by the end of Venom and the time we see in Let There Be Carnage, Venom is like not under Eddie's control, but they have an agreement that Venom's not just gonna go eating people. Um,
basically, it looks like Morbius is like a version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
yes, very very closely related. Um, but because Sony like their cash cow is Spider-Man, that's what they have to like produce a ton of money in the superhero genre. Has definitely tied stuff into their other properties. So I've noticed a ton of spoilers, Easter eggs, anything like that, tie-ins to the other previous Spider-Man universes, not just the current MCU Spider-Man. Did either of you notice anything?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it could connect to the Fast and Furious series. With Roman.
Tyrese is not the same character. Actors can play in different movies.
You sure?
I mean, can
Possible.
Michael Keaton? Because it looks
so-
like he's playing the same guy.
I mean, if we're gonna say that like actors that had one character in one movie are playing the same character in another movie, then Batman is in this movie, because Michael Keaton was Batman. But Michael Keaton,
Morbius is a Batman.
Man Bat. But yeah, Michael Keaton's Vulture seems to make an appearance in the trailer, which would seem to place him in the MCU universe. But also, we get what looks like the Oscorp building in one of the wide shots of New York City from the Amazing Spider-Man series, like that logo of Oscorp. There's also a picture of graffiti painting Spider-Man, and over it says murderer, but it's not Tom Holland's spider suit. I can't tell if it's Tobey Maguire's or Andrew Garfield's. It looks more like Tobey Maguire's because of the eyes. Because if I'm remembering correctly, Andrew Garfield's like suit had dark eyes, and the graffiti has light
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, his
Um,
were more like, I don't want to say pixelated, but you could very definitely like see the dots of the
yeah,
netting or whatever for his eyes.
so that seems to bring it back to the Tobey Maguire universe. And there's the very direct at the end of the trailer. He's like, "Who are you, man?" When he's beating up a criminal, he's like, "I am Venom," and he goes, "Nah, man, I'm Dr. Michael Morbius. I'm here just here." But I'm like, okay, so in the Venom verse, which is, I'm not going to say spoilers, not in the MCU. Wink, wink. Um, so like, is Morbius being tied into the MCU via Multiverse of Madness? Is it in its own separate universe that is this weird amalgamation of all the previous Spider Verses?
Yeah, we're actually gonna
So,
see Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse just pop up.
dude, can we?
Maybe.
Never
But
say
also-
never right now.
It comes out a month after No Way Home, which we all know is already breaking the multiverse. So like,
It's very possible.
it's possible.
So, and then there's two more things I noticed. There's a Daily Bugle headline, but this looks like the Daily Bugle from the original Spider-Man, like the original logo, because the MCU Daily Bugle is an online thing. And then we don't really see much of the Daily Bugle in Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man series, but there's a ton of Daily Bugle with that like big red header in the original Spider-Man trilogy. So I don't know. This is dropping hints like crazy. And then there's more MCU references, not directly related to Spider-Man, but when the FBI agents are talking, there's like, we haven't seen anything this exciting since San Francisco. There are two major MCU characters who kind of reside in that area. That would be Scott Lang's Ant-Man. So both the events of Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I'm assuming more Ant-Man and the Wasp because the FBI were involved in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then you have spoilers for recent MCU projects, but Shang-Chi starts in San Francisco, and Sean is living in Shang-Chi is living in San Francisco. And his whole like big internet viral video takes place in San Francisco, so I wouldn't be surprised if the FBI kind of like poke their nose around there too. So that's just what I noticed after two viewings. I'm sure there's probably more that I missed, but there's a lot of news coming through there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a lot of geek news for this week. But let's head on to our main topic. So for those of you who don't know, this is the 50th anniversary this year, 2021, of Walt Disney World. That's the Florida one. For those of you who are confused, we've talked a bit about like the parks themselves on previous episodes of the podcast. But then another like anniversary of Disney's that's coming up is on November. Is it 11th or 14th? Anyway, before we record the next episode of the podcast, Disney Plus will be turning 2. So happy second birthday, Disney Plus. So that's like two like relatively important milestones, with the park turning 50, one of the like national landmarks here, not just in the US but like globally. It's a pretty significant tourist attraction. But then also Disney Plus has become one of the most popular streaming services after only being around for 2 years. It does help that they have a ton of content readily available to them from one of the biggest media conglomerates in all of the world. But it's still pretty impressive, and they've managed to keep the prices down, which I appreciate. So we were thinking, let's throw back to when we were kids and poke through that Disney Plus catalog and see what's so worth a watching, that we might have forgotten that we don't know is on there. So when you two were poking through Disney Plus, do you find anything exciting?
Okay, so apart from the classics that I know and love, my parents, when I was living with them, they did like to peruse different things. And there's like a movie with like I don't think it's John Wayne, but it's like a cowboy gets like washed up in like Hawaii, and he's got to like, it's just like it's a live action. It's like cowboy in Hawaii, and I thought that was ridiculous. But I did get to like go back to some of the older movies that I've known and love, and I also got to watch ones I've never seen before. So I never watched Aristocrats before like last year, and so I watched that for the first time, and it does have some racism in it, but everybody wants to be a cat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Aristocats, not Aristocrats.
Aristocats.
Aristocats.
Sorry.
I remember that one. I haven't watched that one since I was little. Does it have lots of racism?
Not a lot, not a lot. Just
Okay.
it uses caricatures of
Got it. I guess I wouldn't have noticed that as a kid.
yeah.
No.
Peter Pan doesn't help either.
No.
Well, that's a different topic.
Yeah. Also a classical movie that I loved watching growing up, but
hmm But yeah. Oh, and one that I just watched on Disney Plus that it's not like too much of a throwback. But I'd never seen The Princess and the Frog. Yeah, no, I just watched it. I love that movie.
I got to go to the movie theater with my Girl Scout troop and watch it. It was fun.
Nice. My earliest Disney movie experience was actually The Incredibles. My grandma got married on a Disney cruise, and we were on the cruise, and I was before this was before The Incredibles came out in theaters, and I actually got to go see the movie on the ship before it was officially released. So I was one of the first people to ever see The Incredibles, and that is how I became a fan of superheroes, and probably why I'm hosting this podcast.
That's super
I'm about to feel really old right now because apparently, like, my first Disney movie in theaters was Tarzan, which I just looked it up. That was 1999.
Yeah.
Brendan, were you born yet?
No.
Yeah. So just feeling really old right now. And apparently, like, I really wanted to watch the movie with like the monkeys in it. And that wasn't out on VHS yet. Yes, people who listen who don't know what that is, it's a bigger version of a cassette tape. And you probably also don't know what that is, but we won't talk about 8-tracks.
Oh, if we want to talk about like nostalgic things from this era, let me just everyone real quick. Coming soon to own on DVD and video, or whatever they actually said.
Yeah.
But so then they would sit me in front of the TV with Lion King.
Yeah.
Which, looking that up on Disney Plus, is the Signature Collection is from 1994, which was before I was born. But that was actually on VHS. So.
So Lion King, we watched a lot of Lion King in my household, but also I mean, I'm the youngest of 4, and we had a lot of VHSs, and one movie that my mom would like put in and just like walk away was Fantasia. And
which one?
Oh,
it was
which one?
The first one, and then later we got the second one.
So because there was Fantasia 2000, so that's why I'm asking.
So what's his name? Yeah, so and I would watch it all the time, like to the point where like I almost had it memorized, like the scene with like the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey where he gets the hat. Yeah. But then like it took me years to like look back and realize that it gets really dark, because there's like the little clip of Chernabog, that's his name, which is the giant demon that opens up hell and summons a bunch of flying spirits and demons. That's in Fantasia.
The one that still like haunts me to this day is in Fantasia 2000, the one like clip that's like it's about like the druid, and then like the volcano like destroys like the land, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's just all death and destruction. I'm like, why was I allowed to watch this?
But the music was nice. The music was great.
Oh, the music was awesome.
My mom used Fantasia 2000 sometimes because of the music in her elementary music lessons. So yeah. Especially with Sorcerer's Apprentice, like that just became so iconic.
So
yeah, the hat is still like for the longest time was like one of the biggest Disney symbols.
I would also like to say that Brother Bear and Brother Bear 2 are on Disney Plus, which makes me really happy because I love Phil Collins and his music. Like with Tarzan 2, so amazing. I've actually been listening to On My Way from the first movie.
Yep.
It's on
Such a
my
good
Spotify
song.
playlist.
It's so wholesome.
But like, I am actually kind of upset that there is one movie that is not on Disney Plus yet, and I don't know why. But Snow Dogs is not on Disney Plus.
No Dog.
So upset.
Is that the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, I just got flashbacks.
yeah. And I was looking, I was like, wait, what the heck? It's not there.
But you know what is on there? Snow Buddies
That's
with
because
all of the puppies.
I'm fairly certain all the Air Bud movies are on there. Which, like,
Yes.
if like all of the Air Bud movies were also like my entire childhood, like my family could sit me down in front of any Air Bud movie and I would be perfectly fine. I think my favorite was Seventh Inning Pitch. I don't know why, but I also really liked the soccer one. Which one was? It was Air Bud World Pup. That's what it was.
World Pup. That's great.
World Pup, because one buddy has puppies, hence where the buddies come from. And also I'm just a really big fan of soccer. So, but yeah, the Air Buddies
wait.
are all adorable.
You mentioning Brother Bear and us mentioning VHS has reminded me, did y'all ever like play like the mini games that they'd have on DVDs like for Disney
Had mini
movies?
games on Disney. What?
Yeah, so like for Brother Bear, I remember the one like it was like a questionnaire and then it'd give you your totem. Like
Oh,
based
was
on
it
how
in
you
like
answer.
the special features?
Yes, it
section?
was in the special features
Okay.
section. The
Yeah.
parts that were disabled if you got it from Blockbuster or Redbox or something like
yeah.
that.
Oh man, I just remember the American Idol from Shrek 2. Far, far away title.
Oh
Which is
yeah,
not Disney, but still good.
that is so
Um,
good.
Works.
So speaking of dogs, Oliver and Company was like a huge movie of my childhood. We watched that all the time. Obviously, we watched The Fox and the Hound, but then we hit a point
my
where
God.
my dad said, "Too sad, we're not watching it." And then I said, "Okay, Dad," and then we just watched Oliver and Company, which is based on Oliver Twist. But it's got Billy Joel as the lead dog,
Oh, I
and
didn't realize that.
it's just what a guy to have singing as a dog. And song "Why Should I Worry," I listen to that all the time. I have like one friend that has also seen Oliver and Company, and like we'll play that song and just like belt it, and no one else knows what the song is. That one. And Jungle Book, that was also a childhood
I've
movie
actually
of mine.
never seen Jungle Book.
Hey, you know
What?
That's all right. That's all right.
I've never seen it. Like I know all the music, but I've never actually seen it.
Huh.
There's a good amount of movies
I
I
have it on
haven't seen.
VHS still. But
I remember feeling so smart when I could like tell my parents how inaccurate to Greek mythology Hercules was.
Yep.
Like I was like, that's not how that happened. Hades isn't like a villain.
Zeus, a good father? I don't believe it.
Exactly.
Hera
Um,
actually happy with Zeus? What?
I have heard, and I would watch this if they did a live action Hercules with Tom Hiddleston as Hades and Chris Hemsworth as Zeus.
Okay,
I'm like,
literally,
oh,
every time someone's like, okay, fan cast for Hercules live action, they're like, Tony DeVito has to be Phil. Like he
Yep.
has to. Like that is the main
they can't
thing of,
recast
like,
that
It's
one.
like
Nope.
it's like oh my gosh, I can't say it. Lion King. It's like Mufasa was like the same because you couldn't.
You
James Earl
couldn't
Jones.
replace Jim. Yeah, you can't replace James Earl Jones. Although they've tried with Star Wars for Darth Vader,
They've tried.
mildly successfully, but not. It's nothing's the same as James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
One more thing, because this just freaking blew my mind. Alvin and the Chipmunks came out in 2007.
That's not Disney, is it?
Yes, it is. It's on Disney Plus.
It's on like the live action Alvin and the
Yeah.
Chipmunk.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Quick question. Why is Alvin and the Chipmunks the road chip on there, but we don't have the Squeakquel or Chipwrecked?
I
That
do
I
not
can't tell
know.
you, but
I'm upset because Chipwrecked, or not Chipwrecked, the Squeakquel was the best one.
yeah, it came out in 2007, and that's just like that seems so far away at this point. Like I don't know how to process that.
Yeah.
Also, I recently watched this in my English 337 class, which is like Gothic American literature.
You watched
They
Alvin
be-
and the Chipmunks in your Gothic
No.
American literature class?
I would love to. Honestly, I think Professor Weinstock would totally let us if we could connect it somehow to Gothic American literature. But The Adventures of Ichabod
And Mr. Toad?
Mr. Toad.
Yes.
We watched The Adventures of Ichabod in my class because it's the childrenized version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yes. Disney really was like, let's take any kind of story, even the ones that really shouldn't be a kid story, but let's go for it.
Well, it's like they took Persephone, the story of Persephone and Hades, and made Hades look like the actual like red devil with horns and everything. Watched that in my monsters, myth, and immortality class. We're all just like, that is so inaccurate on so many different levels.
Yep.
Yo, I didn't think Ice Age was Disney.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I thought it was.
I thought it was DreamWorks.
No, okay, so it's Blue Sky Studios, which apparently has been purchased, but Ice Age is
Okay.
on Disney Plus. One of my favorite memories is or I guess it's not a memory since we just filmed it when I was a kid, and now my parents don't let me live it down. But we have a home video of Christmas one year. I got Ice Age 2: The Meltdown on DVD,
Yeah.
and like as a kid, what I would always say when I got what I wanted was like just what I always wanted. That was like my thing. But then I switched it up because apparently I don't. This is not what I say, but I don't think I wanted Ice Age 2: The Meltdown on DVD. I don't think it was on my list. But I opened it. I'm like, Ice Age 2: The Meltdown. I didn't even know I wanted that. That's how I said it. So I was kind of a bratty kid. But Ice Age was also a really good series.
Ice Age was a good series. That's like the movie Anastasia is like not made by Disney, but it was made by Fox, which got bought by Disney. And
Which
so
makes
now,
Anastasia a Disney,
Disney
princess now.
yes. Even though, spoiler, she chooses not to be a princess at the end. But I mean, sometimes you take weird things. I mean, Mulan's a Disney princess, but she's
Technically not. And so is Moana.
Well, if we're going by this
Moana is
logic,
at least somewhat a chief. She's a chieftain's daughter, so she's somewhat royalty in the same sense.
Leia and Amidala are both Disney princesses,
Yes, they are.
or Padme Amidala.
Yeah.
That's canon.
Also, because of my background, for those of you watching YouTube, you can see Stitch with the alien from Toy Story like hat that you can get, and there are aliens next to him. But I'm covering them up with my chair and my back. But I have to put Leroy and Stitch and Lilo and Stitch 2
Yes!
and regular Lilo and Stitch. Like,
I was just about to mention those ones.
Oh man, I love. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so for Halloween, my sister got a Stitch onesie, and she had to end up getting like the next bigger one. But so she was like asking me, she's like, okay, do you want the pink Stitch or the blue? And I was like, the pink Stitch is Angel. And she's like, okay, do you want the pink Stitch? And I was like, oh my gosh, her name is Angel. She is not the pink Stitch. Like, I was so bad.
But Stitch has 625 cousins. How are you supposed to keep track of them all?
Listen, if we can have Ruben, who, you know,
is my favorite Lilo and Stitch character, my favorite one of his siblings, has all the power of Stitch, but none of the ambition to be evil.
Nope.
Nope.
Just to make sandwiches.
Do you guys remember on like the Disney Channel website where you could make sandwiches with Reuben, where you like would just have him go across the screen to collect the ingredients?
Yes.
Did we all play that?
I mean, I did.
Oh man.
You were old
When
enough to
I-
play it?
When I had my fifth, Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, no. When I got like my 20 minutes of computer time for the day, you go to Disney's website, whichever thing. Uh, I mean,
Sweet
if we're
Life
done
of
talking
Zack
about,
and Cody stuff, but
I was gonna say, if we're done talking about movies, we can transition to series on this because I love playing the Kim Possible games. There was the one where you had to drive around. It was basically like a Kim Possible RPG.
What's that? Shout out to the Kim Possible movie that I can't remember what the actual title of it was,
The
but it does
Kim
not look
Possible,
like.
the movie.
Is it just that
I
because
think
it
it is.
doesn't look like it's on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it
Which
is.
makes me sad. It is.
Yeah, Kim Possible movie. So the drama.
So the drama. That's what it is. See, it's not just the Kim Possible movie.
The title is Kim Possible movie. The subtitle is So the drama.
After the colon.
Speaking of TV shows, Lilo and Stitch.
Yes!
Where he gets all his cousins. I heard I work at a children's museum, and sometimes we have a Disney playlist going, and like it was like the theme song to the Lilo and Stitch TV show, and I like didn't know, I knew what it was, but I was like, what is this from? And the moment I like saw, I was like, oh my god, yes, exactly. Chicka chicka papa. And then Stitch says it, and then all of the tiki heads say it. I thought that show was so cool, and I would like research. I like all of the different like his cousins because I thought they're so cool. Of course, there's the electricity guy, but they all had different uses, and like he ended up finding them homes all around the place.
Yes. And then
One-
you have
yeah.
Midge's Pomeranian.
Exactly.
That she's just like, I think wasn't that like the last episode too of the show? They were like, oh, by the way, you know how Midge was like, y'all are crazy and weird for having all these aliens, and then all of a sudden her dog's like, hey, what's up, cousin?
Yeah.
Wasn't or what was it? Is Midge is that the redhead?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought her name was Myrtle.
Is it Myrtle?
It starts with an M for minute.
Well, looking at the description for the last episode on Disney Plus right now, it says Lilo and Myrtle are on a hunt to find buried treasure. I think Midge sounds right because Lilo has to go feed Pudge the fish in like
Probably.
the opening scene
Yep.
of the movie. But yeah,
Can't feed Pudge tuna, okay?
Because that's fish.
And Pudge controls the weather.
Yes,
mm-hmm,
it's true.
exactly. The other one that I completely forgot about that I found on Disney Plus when I was scrolling through was Jake Long, American Dragon.
Yes.
That was also such a good show.
Isn't it getting? Is it
I
getting
thought it was
remade?
I thought there was rumors about getting a live action of that.
Well, we all have phones.
We do.
Jake Long, American Dragon, live action.
If it doesn't have what is it, Dante
Bosco.
Bosco, I'm gonna be disappointed.
If it doesn't have Ryan K. Potter in it, who is currently on Titans as Gar, like I'm gonna be really upset because he was in he was in Super Ninjas, which was Teen Nick, but he is phenomenal when it comes to like karate and all of the martial arts stuff, mixed martial arts. And but he was also on an episode or two of what was it? It was Disney XD / Disney Channel, and it was when Mighty Med and Lab Rats combined to make the team. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it is. But
Mighty Rats.
No, it wasn't that. He and Boo Boo Stewart, Lab Rats Elite Force was what it was called. Ryan Potter and Boo Boo Stewart were villains, and they were both phenomenal with like all of the fight sequences and everything, and just doing their flips and stuff, and which I know we were talking Disney Channel original movies at the beginning, but like Descendants definitely needs like a special shout out, because like that was very clever of them to be like, hey, so all of our old heroes, right? Okay, let's make them have kids. But also I'm very confused because the other than like the heroes, they only explain that Mal is the daughter of Maleficent and Hades, but they don't explain how anyone else is made. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I need answers.
Some of the villains, I wonder why did they have children and procreate?
Well, okay,
Or why not?
They bring in Gaston, and isn't Gaston, doesn't he get killed in Beauty and the Beast, or is that just the live action that he gets killed?
He falls a very long distance into a ravine, and he, by all logical reason, he should be dead.
Because he has a kid named Gil. So
well, is it expected that he is alive, or is because
yes,
it would
because
not...
at one point in Descendants 2, Gil is telling Ben, who is the son of Belle and the Beast, that Gil goes, so my mom wants me to tell you to tell, or my dad wants me to tell for you to tell your mom that he says hi, and that something along the lines of like, okay, the next time, like, hey, I'm gonna kill the beast, like something along those lines.
Well, I mean, with Descendants, it seems to be like similar to like Once Upon a Time, where it's like both in and not in the universe. Like the story is told, but that's not the actual like thing. Like kind of like the Inkheart idea. So it could be that, but also like even if this took place like before, it does not put I wouldn't put it past Gaston to like go off and do some philandering and have an illegitimate child.
That's fair. It's very fair. But I still want Disney to make a TV series or like a movie or something of Gil and Jay off on their adventures, because at the end of the third movie, they were like, oh, we want to go sail to the Atlantic and like go explore the world. And I'm like, okay, can we have that show, please? Because that would be amazing. Like, I want that. Disney, I'm giving you good original ideas, but like,
Sorry, I'm looking through all of these like weird sequels I didn't know existed on Disney Plus. I did know about this one and I forgot about it, but The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, Cinderella 2, Kronk's New Groove.
Kronk's New Groove, yep.
I knew about Lilo and Stitch, Tarzan and Jane. I knew about Fox and the Hound 2, Lady and the Tramp 2.
Yep, because it's with Scamp. They're the only male puppy that they have.
Yeah.
Who of course looks like the Tramp, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Return of Jafar. Wasn't there a third Aladdin movie, and that was like weirdly my favorite?
Yes, there was.
So Return of Jafar is the second one, and it doesn't have the original voice. It doesn't have Robin Williams in it. But the third one, Aladdin King of Thieves, has Aladdin's dad, who is the King of Thieves at one point. And then it has, Genie's back, and it's Robin Williams. And so it's actually really good.
I remember liking that one a lot.
Yeah, and there's like the hand of Midas is in it, and it like turns things to gold.
And then you also have Mulan 2, which is really fun because it's the Emperor's daughters being transported by Mulan, Captain Shang, and then the three guys that were,
Mulan
and
2,
of course,
Mulan Rouge. Just kidding.
Not quite. But they, of course, the three daughters match the three friends, and then, Mulan and Shang, Captain Shang.
I just looked up because I was pretty sure there was a third Cinderella movie, and I'm
yes,
right.
there is.
But I looked up Cinderella, and so I just look up Cinder. I haven't finished looking it up, and it goes Cinderella, the original 1950 movie. Then it goes Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella from 1997. Then I get Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True. Then Ever After, A Cinderella Story. Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, and then The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know why.
The wings fit perfectly.
Because of Anthony Mackie's response to an interview where it was he and Chris Evans were asked if you could be any Disney princess, which one would you be and why? And Anthony Mackie goes, "Oh, I would be Cinderella because my ass is broke," or something like that. And like Chris Evans is dying laughing and falls out of his chair.
If the algorithm is aware of that interview for searching on Disney Plus, I'm
canon.
terrified.
It's canon.
I'm scared. But anyway, yeah, Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. I haven't seen that one. That one came out in 2007.
That one's the one where the evil stepmother gets a hold of fairy godmother's wand and goes back in time and makes it so that one of her daughters ends up marrying the prince instead of Cinderella, and Cinderella has to get the wand back to correct time.
Well, that sounds like something Disney would make for a third movie. Dang, was our childhood like the time of weird sequels?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess that explains why right now is the time of weird live action remakes and reboots. Speaking of, do you guys have anything you really, really want remade? Or like updated live action version made, anything like that? I was always going to say like Kim Possible, but there already is one from 2019, and it's actually not half bad.
So I do have a few, and I thought long and hard because I was like, I don't think I want anything with that doesn't have humans, like anything with like animals. I don't really want remade in live action, even though I like the new Lion King, is nice, but it's still not really live action. It's just very realistic looking. So I was looking at movies that had humans in them, and I really think Atlantis should get remade. I think it would be so cool, and there's so many good actors that could play all the characters. It's got a giant cast. I don't know if you guys ever watched The Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is based on just like a normal like fantasy novel. I think that would make a pretty decent live action movie because it's like a kid has to go stop like an evil lich, and there's like it's kind of dark, but I like that. I put down The Sword in the Stone. But if that was live action, it'd probably still be more kid friendly because that movie's kind of pretty kid friendly. And then lastly, I have Treasure Planet because Treasure Planet is
I'd agree with you on
freaking
Treasure
awesome.
Planet. I could imagine that being like with modern CGI tech looking really cool.
Yes. If they keep all the same music as well, like the back, it's so
Treasure
good.
Planet always kind of scared me.
Yeah, people die. People get sucked into the vacuum of space, or crunched, or left on a planet that's about to explode. It's perfect. And not to bash the original, Treasure Island, but I think Treasure Planet's superior.
Okay, so we've gotten multiple Peter Pans live action. I want Peter Pan Return to Neverland as a live action. Just because I want to see like Jane and everything. I was also thinking this one was a recent one, but Brave, I wouldn't mind if they actually went to like Scotland, Ireland area and like actually filmed the live action version.
No, it'd be beautiful.
Really cool. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Mordu, giant demon bear. I love
that. Emperor's New Groove. Because I want someone to act with either an actual llama or a CGI llama, but
would it still have the like parts where he talks to the audience and he like pauses the movie and goes out with a marker and X's out?
TikTok would have a field day with a live action Emperor's New Groove because they already have a field day with the original movie. You turned me into a llama.
It's one of my favorite
llama
movies of all time.
Supposed to be dead.
Exactly. There's like 3 right now just from that one movie that was made like 20 years ago.
It's so good. It's the humor in it is miles ahead.
Almost 22 years ago is when Emperor's New Groove, because it came out the year you were born, Brendan. It came out in 2000.
Yep.
The year of our Lord.
me.
Um,
Um,
but also, I'm kind of like sitting here going, I kind of want to see a Romeo and Juliet as live
is that
action.
Disney too?
Yeah.
I swear, all of
I-
these things I thought were like third
Romeo
party.
and Juliet
No,
better be Fox that was bought by Disney.
I think it was. I think it's another Blue Sky thing. I think it's the same, falls under
Probably.
the same umbrella as Ice Age.
I know,
But yeah,
yeah.
either Romeo and Juliet or the Sherlock one that
Mhm.
they had come out a couple years ago.
The Sherlock one. Oh,
No
I don't know
way,
if this would be
gnome.
no way, no.
Gnome coming. Romeo and Juliet, gnome coming.
Far from Gnome.
Far from gnome. They had so
Um,
many opportunities.
You said Sherlock, and it made me think. What is it? The Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah. With
Yes.
Radigan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a weird live action. To be
That's
fair,
I think
And-
they could make it like what is that Ratatouille? If they made it like that type of animation, redo that type of animation that way.
Yeah, maybe like that.
Ratatouille.
Or wait, okay. Could you imagine Do you remember the Rescuers?
Yes.
Yes.
That could be made a live action
Yes, it
because
could.
But
you
the
only have
mice.
some of it.
Yeah.
Because
the
you could
mice-
do the mice like you did in the Cinderella movie on Amazon Prime. Oh,
I mean, like with like the alligator like villain. I feel like that could be like decently done. Like you don't need it super realistic. I feel like the CGI animation of like the Lion King would work super well.
Yeah.
But the movie I
absolutely.
do want to see like a live action adaptation of would be The Incredibles.
Oh
I know
man.
it's not that old, but I do think a live and Pixar normally doesn't do the live actions, but I really want to see that one. And then also, I know there have been live action tellings of the story of Tarzan, but I want to use the Phil Collins music and do a live action Tarzan that
Like
way.
a like a
Yes.
faithful remake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. For Tarzan. And then there was one more I was thinking of, and I'm blanking. Um, but that would have been a really good one along the same. Oh, no, we mentioned it early in the episode actually, Hercules.
Yep.
But I want one that's like a little more accurate to actual Greek mythology. Kind of maybe like
Oh,
mess up the story a little bit. Have like,
Hercules is a mean person.
yes,
Well, would you have it be Heracles for the actual Greek version? Because that's his
Maybe.
name in
Yeah.
Greek
That's the
version is
Greek version.
Heracles.
Hercules
Hercules
is
is the
Roman.
Roman name.
I think just I'd keep the title of Hercules. Like I wouldn't keep it that accurate, but like I wouldn't vilify Hades as much. I definitely like make the Titans not like just like big lumbering monsters. Like I'd have like
Yeah.
Kronos kind of be a mastermind type thing, similar to like
Gosh.
Would
kind
you
of.
tie it into Percy Jackson?
I was gonna say Percy Jackson's a good model for how to do that in terms of story. Like yeah, everyone thinks of Hades as a bad guy. Like use the stereotypes to run the story.
Like he was the only one of the big three that followed the rules about not having children.
Until he had Nico.
He had
and-
Nico before World War II, which is when the rule was made. Sorry.
Mhm. But yeah, those would be what I would like to see from
chewing on
like
cords.
live
Yeah.
action.
That would be really cool.
So yeah, but apart from any Disney stuff, as always here on Raving Geeks, we do like to give some recommendations. So apart from, I know I did a lot of Disney Plus researching, but apart from anything like that, do y'all have any recommendations?
Well, I recommend Brother Bear. Obviously
Yes,
you can't
always.
watch my other recommendation on Disney Plus because I said that we can't. But Snow Dogs, I highly recommend watching Snow Dogs. You'll probably find it on VHS because I don't know if it's on DVD or not.
Definitely I recommend Oliver and Company, which does kind of have a pretty insane mobster villain guy. But it's got nice music and it's got a wholesome message about finding a family. And also Brother Bear is a great movie. I'm the youngest of I have two older brothers, just like in Brother Bear, and I always related because the middle brother was always a butthole. And the older brother was kind of like more of like the I don't know, the older brother, but I always related to Brother Bear. I love it. And Joaquin Phoenix plays the main guy.
Does he really?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, my recommendations, if we're gonna give some Disney ones, I guess we mentioned it once, but Lab Rats. I haven't watched that in a
Yes.
while, but Lab Rats, Kim Possible, and Jake and the American Dragon were ones that I'm like, all right, I'm rewatching those now. Now that like I went through my little like Disney Plus like catalog review. But something else besides that, I know I kind of like mentioned it before, but the newest season of Young Justice with Young Justice Phantoms is coming out. It's different than the previous seasons have been, but I'm it's good. I like it. Um, it's just the characters are growing up and we're getting new people in,
Yeah.
so like the dynamics have changed. And then oh no, I just had it. What was it? Oh, all the CW shows that are like returning have returned. The superhero shows, specifically Legend of Tomorrow, has gone through its 100th episode, and as you know how wild and wacky that show can be, the 100th episode delivers. So,
Well,
highly recommend
I will
those.
say honorable mention. Luna suggests Harry Potter, specifically when
I
Luna
watched
Lovegood comes in.
I watched the
But,
first
you
one
know.
today.
So not where Luna Lovegood comes in.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, just a general recommendation too. After going through Disney Plus, there's a lot more on there that I like didn't know was on there. So if you have it and are just like, oh yeah, I'm watching the new stuff that comes out, like new Marvel, new Disney, anything like that, there's a lot of good old things that I
Mhm.
just forgot. And given the 2-year anniversary of Disney Plus, I'd say it's definitely worth going through because I don't know, if I had to pick one streaming service after going through it this time, Disney Plus might be it. There's a lot of good stuff on there. But I believe that's all we've got for y'all today. Thank you for joining us here at Raving Geeks. Make sure you leave a comment wherever you're listening from, and we love to hear from you. Hear what you thought about the episode, any updates. This week's question of the week was from us because we wanted to relate it to the topic. But we love hearing from you, seeing if there's any questions from y'all, any topics y'all want to hear. You can reach out to us on our Facebook or Twitter at Raving Geeks, and check us out on TikTok at Raving Geeks as well. And as always, I've been Brendan Valentine alongside my fellow co-hosts.
Hope Goodero.
And I'm Isaac Hunter.
Stay
Not
geeky
me.
and have a great weeky, everyone. Good night, or good morning, or good afternoon.
night.
Yay.